All right, so second try, we got game number 1 of Dunning-Kruger Knights versus Tickle Me Tassadar, bringing us to Tomb of the Spider Queen, picked by Dunning-Kruger Knights, which passes the first pick to Tickle Me Tassadar. So, Tomb of the Spider Queen, one of the classic rotation maps. You got your 4-man rotation, your solo lane, your single lane on the bot lane. So you always got the big wave clear heroes like Gul'dan, Kael'thas, the mages, Azmodan, all that stuff. And obviously there's still the Genji and the Yrel and the white mains and Rainers that are all strong. But so Tickle Me Tassadar decided to ban out one of their Protoss brethren of the Phoenix. Dunning-Kruger banning out the Genji. So are we going to see an Azmodan ban? Are we going to see a white main ban? Deckard ban? Possibly Gul'dan or Garrosh, but there's the Azmodan. I think he's quite strong on this map, especially if you don't punish him too early and he's able to get his stacks from the waves really quick, then he can become a powerhouse that becomes hard to lose with. They decided to ban him out. So Dunning-Kruger has so many options on the table. I feel like it's a pretty fair meta right now of what are the really strong picks. I feel like a lot of times the bans are just people that you kind of just don't want to deal with. They're counterable. There are some that are a little harder to beat than others, but they're not like, oh my god, we have to pick this hero. Dunning-Kruger getting rid of the Garrosh, giving Tickle Me Tassadar the first pick. So are they going to go with a Deckard? Are they going to go with a Diablo? They pick up the Joanna right off the bat, not showing any strategies, knowing that they have the next 2 picks in the first round before the next ban. So they wanted to secure a kind of a catch-all tank. She can kind of do it all. Just a little, I mean, you don't have to worry about her. She can fit in any comp, so it doesn't show too much. Forcing Dunning-Kruger to kind of decide on who they think is most important before the next ban phase. Decided to pick up Jaina and Blaze. So Yrel is actually still on the table, but they decided to pick up Blaze instead. He can double soak really well. He provides the bunker for that defense if there's any type of push that's needed, or if there's any type of wombo combo coming out of Tickle Me Tassadar. Maybe they know. I mean, again, I didn't do too much research on either team, so I don't know what their typical heroes that they play are. Surprisingly, Tickle Me Tassadar going for the early Cassia. So I know my team is arguing with me about this. I think Cassia is pretty good when in the right situation. Obviously, in the right situations. Usually, you want to pick her when you know there's at least one auto attack on the other team that she can counter. Tickle Me Tassadar does already have the Joanna, so that is double blinds at least to double her damage, provide her more consistent burst damage. But they only see a Blaze and a Jaina on the other team, so it does give a little bit of a question. Be like, okay, well, who are you planning to pick off here? She doesn't provide as much wave clear as some other options, but we'll see how that plays out. So Tickle Me Tassadar looking to ban out most likely probably a tank or a healer here, probably white main, I would imagine. Dunning-Kruger already banned out the Yrel, especially since they already picked the Blaze. Make sure that there's not really an amazing solo laner against him. So, Tickle Me Tassadar deciding to ban out the Diablo. Don't want to pair any APOC combos with Jaina Ring of Frost or anything like that sort. I think he's still probably one of the better tanks, along with Garrosh and Joanna, probably top 3 tanks. Oh, Joanna and Murden are kind of the same level where they can just fit anywhere. They can always do their role. They can always be predictable. Whereas Diablo and Garrosh can make plays and win the game. So Dunning-Kruger deciding to pick up their Malfurion. Kind of still the solid AoE type heals. Has good follow-up on any type of Blaze stun or Murden stun. And providing Innervate for Jaina, which is not something to shake a stick at. I mean, Innervate is pretty good. So Tickle Me Tassadar picking up that Sonya. We don't see too much Sonya anymore. She has fallen off quite a bit of the solo lane meta due to this Yrel and the Blaze. Granted, Sonya does beat up Blaze pretty well. She can bully him off. Will not be able to double soak as much, and doesn't provide as much team defense, but it sounds like they're going all offense. Tickle Me Tassadar. They got Zeratul, the Sonya, the Cassia. Are we gonna see any VPs into Leap, into Ball Lightning or something? It's kind of like the only combo they have. Dunning-Kruger going double mage, the Jaina Li Ming. Kind of unheard of, especially against seeing the Zeratul on the other side. Zeratul is very good against mages because all he has to do is dodge one round of abilities, and then he's kind of got free reign on the hero completely. So if he sees Jaina throwing out the Blizzard already, he jumps in. All he's really worried about is Cone of Cold and Frostbite, which he can kind of juke with his Vorpal Blade. So it's pretty risky for Dunning-Kruger to pick up the double mage. We'll have to see how it plays out. It's a lot of burst to go against the Cassia if there's ever a time when she's using her Fend or if she gets stun locked by the Blaze, Murd, and Malfurion. We'll have to see how it goes. So I'd like to see what you guys think in the chat. We got Fox Michael must be cheering for DKK or raging at DKK. I'm not sure. I don't know. I kind of like... I think I like Tickle Me Tassadar more. Sonya is going to be on top of Li Ming and Jaina all day with not much to stop him, especially if he goes Whirlwind. And we'll see Whirlwind build with the Poison Spear at 7. Cassia can blow up the Murden and the... Well, not blow up, it can definitely force the Murden and the Blaze to kind of take a back seat, whereas Zeratul is just going to be all over their backline. I actually probably don't expect to see Void Prison just because I think Zeratul is going to be looking to just kill somebody with Might of the Nerazim. Yeah, I think I like Tickle Me Tassadar more. I think if it's played correctly, I think they just have a lot more threat. Now there's a lot more burst potential coming out of Dunning-Kruger. And if they are going to land up any type of their stuns combos, then Li Ming plus Jaina can definitely kill anybody from Tickle Me Tassadar. But let's get into game number 1. We got on the left-hand side of the blue team, Dunning-Kruger Knights. We got Apple Eater on the Muradin. We got floating on the Li Ming. Shvek on the Jaina. Aliska on the Blaze. Ralphstew on the Malfurion. On the right-hand side, we got Tickle Me Tassadar, Bayonetta on the Cassia, BKL on the Deckard Cain, Old Pro on the Joanna, and Shiba on the Zeratul, and Serenian on the Sonya. So we're going to see Sonya's already shown to that bot lane, so I would imagine Tickle Me Tassadar is not going to be looking for a fight here. A little bit of poke already, free poke from the Li Ming. Look at these level 1s, we got the typical Sapphire. Sonya's actually holding for level 1. I imagine she's probably deciding... I don't think she's going to want to go block here. There's not really any auto attackers. Should be expect to see the full mending. Yeah, there it is, the war paint. Blaze is actually getting that first soak on that top lane. That means they're actually going to miss. I hope Sonya sees this Blaze top lane. Should do a full clear on bot to try to force them to miss and soak. A lot of Li Ming damage coming out. Murden's jumping away. And we're good to go. So, yep. There was about 2 minions lost for Dunning-Kruger. Not a huge deal in the early game. And we're going to try to see this 4-man rotation go back and forth. A lot more wave clear available for Dunning-Kruger right now. Especially if we're going to see Murden kind of do some delays, since one of the best things about this map when you have a tank that can kind of do whatever they want is you sit kind of in this rotation where you expect people to be and you just slow their mount, get them off mount, slow them down, slow their rotations available. But it seems like both teams are just gonna play their rotation game, not too much fighting. But Murden's gonna be looking for some of that stacking. We got the actual Q quest from the Cassia, looking to try to hit some of that backliners. Probably going to be looking to ignore a lot of the tanks. Like I said, so now they actually started to even up a little bit. I don't know if it's just caught up or they decided to go down. I don't think anybody missed any soak. But they're actually going to fight it out. Joanna forced to pop her Iron Skin. Gotta look out here. So now with the war paint and the whirlwind, Sonya is actually, it should be able to bully out the Blaze a lot. Hopefully we'll see her not really clear the waves anymore and just force Blaze to kind of sit near his towers. But a little bit of team fighting going back and forth. I like this DKK. So the Janus is like, no, this is not worth it yet. I'm going to make sure we go mid lane and not miss any soak or gems. And right now, I mean, this is going to be Tickle Me Tassadar is actually going to lose about 3 minions. So it's fair, evened out versus the front line, the first wave. Look at this, 3 gems is the difference between the 2 teams right now. Nobody's decided to turn in. Nobody's decided to take Merc camps. Level 4 hit for both teams. We got Fen going out. A lot of big damage from the Li Ming. Make sure Cassia gets scared whenever she hits that Fen button. Both the tanks are kind of holding most of the gems, which always makes it tough to turn in when your tank has all the gems. Because like your tank is kind of the person that's delaying for everybody else to turn in. So your tank is like sitting here in these vents while the rest of your team turns in. Looks like DKK was looking for a possible gank, but Serenin sees it, baits it out, has no problem. Aleska's actually out of mana. You're probably going to see him possibly earth back while the rest of his team stays bot lane. With that gank bottom allowed Tickle Me Tassadar to get a turn in, getting their 37 gems in. Both teams have enough for a full turn in. It's just going to come down to now who actually plays the goalkeeping. Murden just barely gets out, but doesn't with the Thunderstrike from Cassia. Gets that final kill. Okay, there you go. So now it comes down to who's going to be able to turn in. We're going to see a rotation down from Tickle Me Tassadar. I like it onto the Blaze. So that way, Sonya, even if they don't get this kill, Sonya will at least be able to turn in. But I think they'll get the kill anyways. Just barely don't get the kill. But that's going to scare them out. So now Serenian should be able to have a free turn in, which should give the first Web Weavers to Tickle Me Tassadar. Bayonetta still getting pretty low. But this is kind of one of the issues. Oh, barely that body block. If that Sonya didn't hit those magic missiles, Bayonetta actually would have gone down. So great heads-up play from Sonya there. Still, nobody decided to take Merc camps. We got like a sliver of experience lead. Both teams are going to hit level 7 at the same time, or roughly the same time. Looking at those level 7s, we actually hit Emerald from the Deckard Cain, getting rid of some, which is quite interesting because Malfurion doesn't have the most burstiest of heals to kind of to counteract. So I guess I'm really going to be looking for when we dive on that one person, we don't want Malfurion to give any type of heals to guarantee those kills. Opt to get one wall for it so far. Sonya's doing some of that split soaking, making sure she can get value in the lane. Leave Blaze to kind of clear the bottom Web Weaver, but they're getting some push. I mean, they're going to get... No, the fort doesn't take any damage because they were able to kill that Web Weaver before she does her... do the Web Weaver's attacks have a name? Like, what is that, her little push wave, psi wave thing? Does that have a name? So now the tricky part. How does Tickle Me Tassadar delay Dunning-Kruger from getting the turn in, and how does Dunning-Kruger force their, like, kind of maneuver themselves to get their own turn in? Shvek taking a lot of damage from the Zeratul, and we're probably going to be seeing that all game. Shvek looking for the, Shiba looking for those backliner mages. It's going to make it risky for anybody to turn in. He's in here. He's looking for it. He doesn't, no, he didn't interrupt in time. But I think the biggest person they need to worry about is this Aleska on the bot lane trying to get his turn in. So they're going to want to make a rotation down to the bot lane to kind of secure this Blaze. But Tickle Me Tassadar is scouting it out. They know what's going on. Seeing Wormhole picked up by Shiba, so they allows to get a lot of poke in. It's almost going to get to the point where if Tickle Me Tassadar delays enough, they'll have their own turn in again. And then it becomes a really fiasco of who defends, who pushes, who pokes, who turns in. And it's the back and forth. Good damage out of Shvek, trying to get some of that quest stacking up for his ice block. That's really going to help against the Zeratul. This Joanna is really causing a pain. Like, she's just been dealing with 2 people on top lane. Allowing floating on to turn in. Getting 5 more closer, but Malfurion is going to die on this bot lane to the 4-man rotation down here. Aleska almost dying, losing up their gems. And that gives enough gems to Tickle Me Tassadar. If they get a double turn in here, that could spell really bad snowball for Dunning-Kruger. Like, Joanna does not care at all. She's just staying up here the whole time. Getting a little bit of fan damage, but it actually went into the tower shots, which allowed her to take a lot of damage, more than she expected. But it doesn't matter because there's Decker Kane. And Tickle Me Tassadar is able to get the second turn in a row. Now, they weren't able to get too much with the first one. They got the top wall, but with the Li Ming dead on a poor, like just the worst timing to die right before the wave weave response. So I think this is definitely going to get the top fort for Tickle Me Tassadar. Nice body blocks by the Zeratul, stopping that Jaina from being able to run away and getting a second pickup right before the turn, right before the wave weavers get there. And that's both of their mages, their main source of wave clear down for at least another 10 seconds or 20 seconds for them to run in back. Tranquility, Disintegrate, Bunker, Water Elemental, try to scare off that Zeratul. We do see the Might of the Nerazim, so no VP like we do see Might of the Nerazim like I assumed. So good job, me. Zeratul's looking for that damage. They're actually going to be able to get all 3 forts with this. This is netting them a 2-level lead. Hey, Zerk. Letting them a 2-level lead here already, and they're probably actually going to get a 3-level lead eventually. No, they're going to probably keep the 2 just because they're going to get the minion waves. So now, they have so much room, or Tickle Me Tassadar has so much room to play with now with all these forts gone and walls. So Zeratul has room to run around, get behind people. They can defend the turn-ins quite easily, knowing that there's not really a good escape for the other team. And both teams opting to get their merc camps. So quick looking at the damage. We got Cassius sitting at 21,000, Zeratul sitting at 12,000. Li Ming at 17, not too far behind. Jaina at 14. Checking out the talents with level 13 reached for Tickle Me Tassadar. Everything else is pretty typical. We actually got Spell Shield since there are multiple mages going on. Looking at a big 5v5 fight here. We got Murden getting pushed away by the Lornado, not able to get into the bunker. And Zeratul, actually Joanna and Sonya in that back lane just going after the mages and the healer since Murden was getting bodied by that Lornado. Actually, Murden died. Zeratul getting that last bit of Seeker in the Dark. Or not Seeker in the Dark, what was that ability called? Singularity Spike. Getting a 5-man wipe with that level 13 lead. And they're going to start snowballing this map. Are they going to go for boss? Is that a greedy play? I don't think so. They did just use a lot of ultimates, but all their ultimates are very short. And I think what pretty much happens here, it's either you defend. Okay, they're going to get all their turn in, so they're deciding not to do boss. So they could have, I mean, they could have done boss. They had 3-level lead. The ultimates would have been in at the same time. They get the turn in, do the safe play, make sure that they don't throw on boss. Are they going to get more kills here? Nice stun from the Joanna, old pro, getting an insta-kill on that Jaina. Not having the ice block yet, and she is really hurting. Raustu was trying his hardest to get the heal back up, but unfortunately Malfurion just does not quite have a way to stop the enemy team from destroying his teammates. He just has to look in pain as his little druid heals trickle in. Doing a little bit of stun, but the 4-man here is versus the 5 with the Web Weavers. It does extra damage, so they're gonna have to be careful. If they lose anybody here during this wave, they'll definitely lose keeps. They probably just want to play safe, use their mage wave clear. Still no level 13s for Dunning-Kruger. They gotta really just make sure they can either try to split up. Oh no, that Disintegrate from floating on, getting punished by Serenian, making sure that, hey, you're gonna stand here, I'll just, you know, free spear target. Malfurion's getting the heals back in. Has Tranquility another 20. So they were able to defend mid-keep. Just Tickle Me Tassadar just feign to go to the other lanes and then just keep pushing mid-keep. I think that would be the main play. Okay, they decide to back out. I would have really liked to see them, like, you know, once they see members on the other lanes, to just re-push here, maybe get this well, possibly to get some damage on the fort. But again, gonna re-opt to get some merc camps that are available on the map. Sonya playing that defense game still, really understanding this map. Remember, this was picked by Dunning-Kruger Knights. Check. Get walking in there. John actually just walks straight in, knowing that the rest of his team's coming in, knowing that he still has Iron Skin. The rest of the team does arrive. Shvek gets destroyed by that Zeratul and the Sonya together. And for Halfstu, again, the healing is just not enough to bring it in, especially probably with that Sapphire. I would like to see what the healing reduction was. Bayonetta able to finish off that Blaze, finish up the Muradin, followed up with that Blaze, and now that gets rid of pretty much all of the gems. It's floating on, gonna try to sneak a turn in, just to give just some semblance of livelihood here for Dunning-Kruger Knights. Decided not to. Gonna work on clearing these giants. Passing up the boss for Tickle Me Tassadar, and this could just be the nail in the coffin for this match for Tickle Me Tassadar once they push in with this boss to try to get a keep. Friendly, I like this Zeratul, making sure that they're still get some gems coming in. Make sure they're still not letting Dunning-Kruger catch up on experience any chance they get. This is going to require a full defense from Dunning-Kruger. If they lose anybody, like, they're going to have to play perfectly. We're going to see a lot of damage. Hopefully they can get a lot of focus targets on somebody. Even Sonya, they can try to focus with the double mage. We've got Disintegrate already going out, trying to do as much damage as they can. Zeratul pretty much doing half health to floating on. We got Tranquility is available. There it is. But look at that damage. That damage into Cassia with the Pierce. Actually, she didn't even go Pierce. She went to Penetrate with Fen. But 3 members in a row just got obliterated. Shvek trying to hold on for dear life. But with that 4-man dead, I think the spell's doomed for Dunning-Kruger Knights, and a good job for Tickle Me Tassadar, winning game number 1 with that boss push. So, I mean, that was a quick game. That was 14 minutes on Tomb of the Spider Queen. That's unfortunately, I mean, they Tickle Me Tassadar. They played the map. They played the map well. They got their defense. They got their they got the defense going. They were able to sneak in their own turn-ins twice in a row, 3 times in a row actually, plus getting the boss. I mean, sometimes that can happen. You can just snowball the map like that. So, little unfortunate, but I mean, you got to hand it to Tickle Me Tassadar. They played it correctly, and that was Dunning-Kruger's map pick. So we're gonna go to a quick break while I set up game number 2. So I hope everybody will stick around for another. We'll be back in, let's say, 3 minutes. Do math. There we go. 3 minutes. All right. Be right back. All right, guys. So sorry I didn't do a quick intro there to let you guys know, but we're gonna move right into game number 2 because all the teams got ready in the lobby really quick. So game number 2, bringing us to Battlefield of Eternity, picked by Tickle Me Tassadar, who are already up 1-0 in this series. So giving first pick to Dunning-Kruger Knights, banning out the Garrosh. Now, Battlefield of Eternity is not a map we see too often in NGS. I think it's one of the lower picked maps, but it has very interesting strategies of what we see between different teams. I like to kind of bundle it into 3 different methods. You have the full race team, you have the delay and double soak team, you have, most of the time it's the delay and have one person push. But, you know, obviously we've got quick Hanzo band, still very strong on this map, probably one of the best racers, even with after the nerfs. Aslan being banned out because he's just good everywhere. You get the dunks, a little less good on Battlefield of Eternity. Laser can do some work, but, you know, still have General pushing the other lane. Tickle Me Tassadar and opting to ban out the Phoenix, getting rid of another racer. So this is begging me the question, you know, what is Tickle Me Tassadar's game plan for killing the Immortal? Still a lot of options. Rainer is still available, and he's huge, especially if you don't have to take Ace in the Hole. If you take, you know, whatever his monster killing talent does work. Cassia is still pretty good. Monk is good. Hammer is really good on this map, and it becomes incredibly infuriating to play against. But Dunning-Kruger Knight picking up the Greymane, one of the other better racers, especially in Wolf, and once he's into Wolf form. Interesting. So Tickle Me Tassadar again, not really showing their hand, picking up the Deckard and the Joanna. Joanna able to just body soak a bunch. Joanna's able to blind she can run over to defending her Immortal and blind the Greymane who might be trying to attack it and slow down their race. Deckard, one of the better healers, but kind of leaves them open to be able to say, hey, you know, if you guys don't pick the correct counters here before we show it, we might be able to get away with some cheesy shit. Dunning-Kruger Knights opting to pick out the Diablo Alexstrasza. You know, there's still all the healers available. You still had White Mane. You still had, obviously, I mean, they picked Alexstrasza. I think Rhaegar is still pretty strong on this, is really strong on this map. Stukov. But maybe they're thinking this is Infernal Shrines. Alexstrasza has the dragon form, so I think they're probably planning that, hey, we're going to win the race. You're going to have to come into us and defend your own Immortal. And when you do, we're just going to pop dragon form and keep pushing and try to pop the Immortal into the next phase. So I imagine that's what they're going to be looking to do. All right, so Dunning-Kruger actually opting to ban out the Sonya that was picked up by Tassadar last game. Another map that's pretty, I mean, the solo lane is not as important. It still exists. A lot of times you'll do a 1-4 split. Tickle Me Tassadar picking up the Artanis. Getting that amateur opponent in there to do some damage. And the Li Ming. I really like Li Ming on Battlefield of Eternity. The ability, like, if you're gonna win the race, or even if you're defending your own Immortal, her long range, and there's so many choke points for people to have to come into. Like, let's say you're on the 2 mid positions of the Immortal. Li Ming can just chuck orbs on either of those little funnel places of the enemy team, and you're gonna get damage done. Like, she's always just doing damage. And then if you're winning and they push into you, Li Ming's got the best poke in the game. So I really like that pick. But quite interesting, on the other side, we got Dunning-Kruger picking up the Vala and the Tyrael. So I like the Tyrael pick with it just because he's gonna provide more shielding for the Vala and the Greymane, who are both divey or squishy and kind of divey, along with the Alexstrasza healing. And Tickle Me Tassadar is going to answer it with another Cassia. This time, a lot more effective on this game because they're, again, have the blinds with Joanna. They're going to have secondary blinds with Cassia. But now they're also against 2 auto attackers. Last game they were against 2 mages. Now they're against 2 auto attackers. So those blinds are going to be so impactful for the added damage and for the reduction of damage from Dunning-Kruger. So, I mean, so let's start off right off the bat. Who wins the race? So Cassia is about equivalent to... Okay, she's slightly lower than Vala until Vala finishes her quest. I think she's about the same as Vala until Vala finishes her quest, if she goes that talent. Then Vala wins. You got Artanis can keep a little bit lower than Greymane, but then there's the added damage of Li Ming. So I think, no matter what, I think Tickle Me Tassadar already wins the race if they get there at roughly the same time as Dunning-Kruger, which puts Dunning-Kruger in a weird spot because I think they're kind of banking on the fact that they have this Alexstrasza to defend themselves when they get rushed, but that's only going to happen if they're winning. So we'll have to see how it plays out. It's going to have to have some really good rotations from Dunning-Kruger to bring this up. So game number 2, we got Shvek on the Greymane, Apple Eater on the Diablo, Aleska on the Tyrael, Ralphstew on the Alexstrasza, and floating on that Vala. On the right hand side, we got Tickle Me Tassadar, Old Pro on the Joanna, Shiba on that Li Ming, Bayonetta on the Cassia, BKL on that Kayn, and Serenian on the Artanis. Getting a little bit of that spray. Good timing on the spray. I don't know if he knew that I was going to be there already. Probably just spamming the sprays the whole time. So, hopefully you guys have getting your thoughts of who's going to win these lanes. We actually have Greymane going the top lane against this Artanis. Quite interesting. I think he does really well. He's going to, as long as he's not getting hit by Artanis's dash, which is Blade Dash, then he can stay out of range of Artanis and kind of just poke him with auto attacks. Once he gets low with the shields, he can jump into the wolf form and will actually do pretty well. Brings Tyrael in the bot lane to give the shields to the rest of his team. They're basically banking on this Vala to be doing a lot of damage. Just get a lot of damage from that Cassia. Luckily, Aleska was able to jump into that Alexstrasza heal. But that is just so much damage, and everybody's at full health. Pretty much not scared at all. Oh my god, Apple Eater basically almost just got one shot there. Li Ming with that power hungry, actually not opting to go for the constant mana regen. Expecting to get a lot of fights. I guess she's expecting to have these fights over pretty early when she's doing her poke, especially with the Decker Kayn. If they start timing out these Decker Kayn roots with the Li Ming, that's gonna be so devastating. I'm gonna try it. So we kind of expect how this is gonna go. I apologize if I'm gonna miss any kills, but I'd really actually like to see how this solo lane's going. So we do see amateur opponent. Again, getting some of that wave clear. He's going to have probably about the same wave clear as everybody else. Tyrael's getting really low, though. Looking at a flip on the Joanna, not the best target, but Vala barely gets away. Dies to the Kayn root. Li Ming anticipating that retreat onto the walls and getting that kill. Or almost getting that kill. Doing quite a lot of damage. But the Kayn, this is the reason why Kayn is just so strong. That large zone root. Just, you can't beat it. Again, neither team opting to go for any Merc camps yet, even though we do have that kill. Makes sense to call them Knights for short than Dunning-Kruger. Yeah, I mean, but like, Knights can be anything in the game. Right? So I mean, like, on this map there's not going to be any Knights, so maybe I'll try to say Knights more. We do get some camps taken for Tassadar on the bot lane, since they are dominating this bot lane. Already got one wall down. That's how much they've been dominating this. Tyrael's not been able to provide as much, not as much defense as they probably would have expected. But at least they have a good rotation over to the Shaman camp. Greymane. Oh, overlay. Good job. Thanks. Every time, the second game, the first game I swapped it fine. The second game I always forget. It's like I get caught up. I don't know. I need to somehow make a reminder for myself. Like 40 minutes in, just yell overlay on an alarm. But anyways, so first Immortal phase. Both teams have taken their camps. But Tickle Me Tassadar was able to get in there first. So they've done most of the damage. Got Greymane on the other hand, who's going to do a little bit of the race, so we're going to see that kind of that strategy like I mentioned before with the 4-man defense with the 1-man pushing to make sure that they can try to even it out. But Li Ming, one of the better options for this. And popping out Dragon now. in the middle of the team fight actually gonna say, like, we want to force this fight really hard. We got Cassia's got flipped around. Big root from that Deckard Cain. Getting followed up by that Fen from Cassia. Got to swap with the Artanis to get into the Apple Eater. But they're all able to just kind of walk away. Aleska, maybe? Big heal. Alright, so once again, I mean, these team fights, they're so far going in the way of Tickle Tassadar. Old Pro actually has no mana. Could be punished for this, but I think he did enough to delay them to allow a little bit more shielding for the Knights. So, early Immortal, or first round Immortal, taken pretty handily by Tickle Tassadar. I mean, the Cain, Cassia, and Li Ming combo is just doing so much damage. Bayonetta, Apple Eater, finally catching a break, being able to flip over that aggressive Cassia and punish her, flipping her to the towers. That is 1 DPS down. But their Vala's not here, which means it's going to take a lot longer to kill this Immortal than it would have otherwise. Level 7's reached for Tickle Tassadar. Getting the follow through for a little bit extra damage and quickness in their attacking. Going Seeker, Magic Missile build for Li Ming. Not feeling scared by the Tyrael or the Greymane. Deciding to go full tilt on, I'm just going to poke you. We'll see how it plays out. I really like Seeker on this map because it does provide even more race on the Immortal. Got level 7s reached. For Dunning-Kruger, we got the full W build for Alexstrasza. Is that W? Yes. Greymane opting for getting that Wizened Duelist. Li Ming, I mean, so Vala actually is taking a little while to take her talents. She actually lost a lot of chances to get Hungry and Arrow stacks. Joanna is just sitting on their whole team, just constantly. That Seeker damage. Ralph's goes down to 1/3 of health. Vala, what are you doing? No, click into minimap. Don't do it. And they're just going to keep chasing, picking off Ralph's soon to be followed by Tyrael, trying to get that run speed. I think he actually does get out. Nope. Gets pulled by the Deckard Cain. The old man kills and finishing up the Diablo as well. 4-man wipe. Everybody on the bot lane going down. Good job on Tickle Tassadar securing those kills, giving them now a level and a half lead. So Greymane is doing okay against Artanis. Like, he's not winning the lane, although I guess he is losing the lane because it looks like his towers are down. But I think his towers are down due to the Immortal with Artanis being up there, and ours rather being due to the Merc camps. Both teams are getting in position to take their Shaman camp as soon as they spawn. I like it. Ooh, actually, Tickle Tassadar is deciding not to. Almost level 10. Are they looking to invade? Do they get there in time? Does Joanna see it? They do see it, but they're not going to get in time. Joanna almost looked for it. They were so close to level 10s. It looks like that's probably why they did delay themselves. So what does Dunning-Kruger do here? Are they going to try to make sure they can take a fight before they pick their ultimates? There's only 2 picked now. Okay, now everybody had enough of a breather to pick their ultimates in time. So that was a quick Immortal transition phase. Cassia, look at that damage. Cassia's doing so much damage. Going the Fen build against the Tyrael and Diablo. Especially since Tyrael was in that bot lane, so you had the 2 tanks right there. Being able to get a lot of value. Cain being the little ward lookout. Joanna walking in, using Unstoppable, doesn't care. Popping the dragon from Ralph's looking to get a lot of the big heals, but everybody's so grouped up for Cassia. Getting so much value out of the... God, I am so bad at, calling abilities. Ball Lightning. Dragon out, but even with the dragon, they still got... That was a 4v5 against a dragon, against an Immortal. 4v5. I mean, they had ultimates, but they didn't really use ultimates other than Ball Lightning and Suppression Pulse. Artanis was top lane the whole time. That is such a big deal. Tickle Tassadar just running all over them, it feels like. Dunning-Kruger's really got to look for some of these picks. I mean, they got a little bit more late game. Once they get Sanctification, it'll be a different deal. Because anytime Ball Lightning comes out, they'll be able to pop Sanctification. So we're going to see The 4-man defense with Tyrael in the opposite lane trying to get level 10s. Hopefully they don't lose a keep here. With the Tyrael's got to try to get experience as fast as possible to get Dunning-Kruger level 10. But Tickle Tassadar is probably not going to give them any breathing room. Constant poke and throwing out Leeming damage. Using that Seeker. I actually really like Sapphire against the Alexstrasza this time. Diablo getting some body blocks on the Johanna. This could be their first big break. Oh, but the Lornado saving that Johanna. Lifebinder being used on floating on. Bringing out the Lightning Breath. They do not save the keep. I was about to say, I think that like one orb was going to get body blocked and it wasn't going to kill the keep. I was going to be very upset. Hits level 10s for DKK. Level 13s for Tickle Tassadar. Only got 4 stacks for the Vala. Got 3 stacks of Wise and Duelist for the Greymane. Got the long range Blink for the Leeming. I'm actually surprised that Leeming's not going for the what's the talent that allows her to take more damage and do more damage. Since she hasn't really been threatened at all, I don't think she should be scared. You might as well keep pushing your advantage. Alright. Both teams opting to take their PvE. So far, I like the fact... Okay, they are going to take it now. Hopefully they don't cap it right away. There's really no need to cap it unless they're going to push with that, with these Merc camps. So they end up capping. So we're going to have a big Merc wave, but unless they're aggressive with this, then this Merc wave is going to be cleared out pretty quickly. We're having the defense, 4-man defense, but Tyrael just hurt. They don't have Sanctification here. Shvek's on the bot lane with the Greymane. You're getting bullied by this Decker Kane. The swap from the Artans, but I think that might have... Okay, he's not going to save. He's going to try and run away. Ralph's getting low from Bayonetta in the back. We got Greymane running the opposite directions. I can't pay attention to both. Alexstrasza finally goes down on the other side. I think there goes the Greymane as well. Just the final kill. Oh, Decker didn't get the final kill. Decker's gotten so many kills. Come on, man. Where's the kill count? Oh, it doesn't even show. Wait, why does not show kill count? I want to see how many kills Deckard has. 2. Come on, give the old man some kills. So, with the 2-man down from Dunning-Kruger, it's going to allow Tickle Tassadar to basically get a full reset on this Immortal once again. I mean, Dunning-Kruger, they're going to do a miracle at this point. They're going to have to look for some bush camping, get an early pick on somebody. This Johanna, though, I mean, Old Pro has just been in their face, stopping them from doing whatever they want. I mean, just that damage themselves. Alexstrasza is already at half health. The Dragon goes out, looking for some of that healing. Diablo's in the back lane, trying to focus on the BKL. Looks with Shook as well. But Bayonetta just solos Diablo by herself, pretty much. Lifebinder coming out, save Ralph Stew. But this is the 4-man chase on here, and Artanis get the last-minute swap on Ralph Stew, securing that kill as well, and that's going to be a 2 for nothing. Kane walks away from that Greymane because you can't kill Kane. I mean, my team, you guys keep making fun of the Cassia. I mean, she's doing work. This time she was a last pick, and it was a great last pick for this comp, against their comp. But she's doing so much damage. Alright, so this is a full shield Immortal. Level 16 is almost reached for Tickle Tassadar. Dunning-Kruger is going to have to make a play. They're same talent tier. Do they fight? I think they probably want to fight before the Immortal gets in position. Let's see if we get some type of rotation out to this bush and get somebody off guard. Nope, they're going to opt to defend behind the gate. It's going to be very tough to do. Diablo actually does not have any souls. So hopefully they don't lose anybody too early. Lornado coming out, pushing the Vala. One big heal already went out on top of her. Big damage from the Old Bro. He's going in, looking for the big man. Condemn and the stun. And put right off the bat, Greymane goes down, followed by that Tyrael. No Sanctification. Oh, Sanctification had 3 seconds left. Oh, man. Followed by that Diablo. Huge damage on Sheba, or onto floating on. And actually finishes it with a wave of 4, with the... Oh, wait, I thought Wave of Force guys, but I guess Cassia running train on them, getting a full 5-man final kills. with Bayonetta, and man, she just ran train. 13-minute game for Tickle Me Tassadar, and they looked dominant in this series. So I mean, that was what, a 13-minute game. Game number 1 was a 14-minute game. I mean, I like the ideas behind Dunning-Kruger's draft on both games. They just got out drafted. I hate to say it, but the double mage game 1 didn't pan out too much for him. It was a great pickup by Tickle Me Tassadar to pick up the Zeratul to really punish the squishiness of that backline. Game number 2, they were going for that race. I like the idea with the Alexstrasza, but like it just never turned out that way. And we're gonna see if we can get a quick interview here from somebody from Tickle Me Tassadar. And we're gonna see who we're able to pick up. Ask a couple questions, see how they're feeling about those games and those drafts. All right. So, even though those games were pretty quick, I mean, it really showed the power of Tickle Me Tassadar, and we got the captain himself, BKL. How's it going?
It's going quite well.
Yeah, I bet so. After those two, I mean, I hate to say it, casters are always, they say not to be try to be even to everybody, but I mean, those are dominating games. I'm not gonna lie. So, how's that feel?
It feels fantastic. We were really happy with how that came out.
And so I was looking at the schedule or your guys' standings before this game, and I'm thinking that Dunning-Kruger doesn't have quite. They must not have a game reported, but you guys are pretty even on standings.
Yeah.
What is your prep work like? I mean, how much prep does that usually give you guys for moving into a game like this? What do you guys normally do, like a typical practice or processes?
So process-wise, when we get their schedule, we look at, okay, what are the 3 teams we're going to face over this 2-week period? And we go into scouting through Stats of the Storm, which is a wonderful thing.
It's great. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, which we use a lot to help us give an idea of what their comfort picks are, what they like to ban, where they like to go. So coming in, we knew they really liked their Phoenix, so we didn't want to deal with that too much, so we banded out both games. Okay. And we had an idea for their map pool that they like to play Infernal Shrines and Tomb.
Mm-hmm.
And we were hoping they took us to Tomb, and they did end up taking us to Tomb, so that worked out well for us.
So all played into your hands. You thought of everything. So
I wouldn't say everything, but I'm happy with how it turned out.
Of course. So game number 1, you guys showed the early Cassia pick when you were only the enemy team only showed a Blaze Jaina. What was kind of your thought process there? I mean, you guys picked Cassia in the first round before you really saw any counters.
With the Cassia pick, it comes down to both of our DPS carries are flexible onto that hero, so that's one that can go either way, and it gives us flexibility later in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
It gives us a nice synergy with the Johanna, which we picked up early, and we also knew it was going to help out with some wave clear on too.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was top damage on both games.
I believe so.
Yeah, on the second match, I think that was probably the perfect draft on the second match, especially the last pick, going against 2 auto attackers, double front line. I mean, originally she was destroying.
We were looking to go in a different auto attacker later. We were thinking, okay, we're thinking of going into the Vala here for the burn, but then they ended up picking it, and we looked at it and said, wait a second, they have 2 hyper auto attack focused characters. Let's throw in Cassia again, who's great into that with her blinds and her physical armor.
Yeah, and you already had the Johanna. I mean, she's sitting at game number 2. She had 63,000 damage. The next highest was actually your Johanna with 29,000. But that's such a big gap between damage dealers.
Yeah, she did amazing that game.
So I know you probably don't want to give out too many strats, but we don't see too many teams, or at least of the NGS games that I watch, that go to Battlefield of Eternity. What do you guys like about that map?
First thing we really like about it, it's a 2-lane map.
Oh, God, I'm going to stop you right there. The interview's done. You like 2-lane maps. I don't even care anymore.
I like 2-lane maps. It's
God.
we can do rotation heavy maps, like we were able to do rotations through Tomb, but we like the 2-lane map in Battlefield, and also we really like that it's team fight oriented. We feel we do pretty well there overall, and we've shown when we've played that map in the past, it's been really a strength for us. So we have an idea of what we like going into on that map, and it gives us a nice raw outline to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something we've proven successful with in the past, so it's something we can always come back to as a comfort.
Yeah, I guess all the teams, if any of your Division C West competitors, I guess, are watching, then gotta watch out for that. They like to do team fights. They like to do 2-lane maps, given the strats. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it for me. I guess. Do you guys have any shout outs that you want to give out?
Shout outs to you for casting this. Thank you so much. Shout outs to Dunning-Kruger Knights. You guys play great games. Always happy to do this. If you guys ever want to scrim, hit me up.
Now that you guys' games are over, so you're good to go.
Yeah, and shout outs to my team, Old Pro, Sheba, Serenian, Bayonetta. You guys played great. Always happy to see it, and let's hope we have good results again tomorrow.
Easy, nice and smooth. Can't go wrong with that. So, well, once again, congratulations on the 2 quick games, and good luck moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good night. All right, guys. So that's going to be it for me. 2 fast games. I think they're both. I mean, like, it is what it is. They were just. Tickle Me Tassadar came into play. Dunning-Kruger put up a fight as best as they could, but Tickle Me Tassadar was like, nah, man, we got this. They said they were both even on the standings, so we'll have to see how this plays out for both teams in the following weeks to come. But that's gonna be it for me. Hit me up. If you like what you see, I usually post all these videos, all these casts to my YouTube as well, so that way they stay permanently. Because Twitch VODs do disappear after a while. So you can always check out the YouTube. I think there's a link below if you want to follow that to make sure that you're caught up on all the VODs. And if you're part of NGS, they're going to be showing up. It's a great system. So shoot me a follow if you like it. I'm going to try to cast games more often. I need to cast games more often, but I'm also going to try to stream, my individual Hero League more often and just other games that I play. So look out for that. All right, well, that's going to be it for me. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.